Hey
Welcome
guys!
to the One Up Weekly Live. Oh my god. I was
What's
really
going
bad
on?
on that timing. What is
I know
going
you
on?
forgot I
Ralph?
do Hey Guys. It's
I
been so long that you
forgot, I
forgot I do
forgot.
Hey Guys.
So welcome
Hey
to
guys, should we get rid of
season
Hey
2.
Guys? Should we get
What's
rid of
that?
Hey Guys? Should I get rid of Hey Guys? I mean, it's like we've been doing Hey Guys for like almost like 2 years now.
It's time for something to change. Let's change everything we can. So let's start with season 2, episode 1 of the One Up Weekly. We're going to go back to our roots. We're going to go back to where Ralph and I really wanted this podcast to go when we first put it all together. And this one's really fun because this is the height of one of the funnest YouTube live streams that I've ever done with Ralph. Is this model right here, where I picked 2 topics and Ralph picked 2 topics. I have no clue what his topics are, and he has no clue what my topics are. It's kind of funny. I'm wondering
You could have
if
cheated though. You didn't cheat, right? You could
No,
have cheated. Did you poke around and stuff?
I didn't
You
poke
poked
around and stuff.
Okay, all right.
and
You
it
poked
was
around, you
funny.
would've saw it.
I was thinking about, I was afraid that we were going to like overlap. So I was like, let's text a friend. Like, here's my 2 topics. You text 2 topics, and then he'll tell us if we've overlapped. But we didn't go that far. We're like, they're
That's a good idea,
overcomplicating it.
though.
It's kind of a
That's
cool
pretty
idea.
good idea.
So I have this idea of where we'll start. We're
Okay.
going to play rock, paper, scissors, and whoever wins, it's one shot, and whoever
Okay.
wins, right, they go first.
Can we do
Okay.
it though? Without like, are we
Oh.
good to do?
Close your eyes while you're doing it.
Okay.
So rock, paper, scissors, go.
Wait, well, no, I'm not ready. I'm not ready.
Ready?
Yeah.
Rock, paper, scissors,
Wait, hold on,
go.
hold on, wait. I don't know. I'm not ready. Hold on. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
All right, ready? Yeah.
Rock, paper, scissors, go.
Who won?
All right. You won. I'm paper and
Okay.
you're
So that
scissors.
means I go
you won.
first? It's
You
not
go
like a
first.
best of?
No, just
Okay.
let's just go.
Okay, cool. So this is probably not super new news, but it kind of got me super pumped up. And I think all right, there's one problem is I uploaded the video and it's because it's so fast, StreamYard kind of compresses it. So you just got to bear with the fact that it's a little bit blocky, but something is back.
Okay.
And I saw it, but I have never played it. And I was like, dude, this is cool.
All
So just imagine it's an iconic title. Everyone pretty much loves it. And it's back. But check it out. I'm going to play it. I'm going to
Okay.
play the video.
All right. All right, this is where Ralph does his voiceovers. Oh my God, this is a brand new game, and look, you can do all these flips. Come on, Ralph, you can do it. You can. What else can you do? Dude, unmute yourself. Come on. All right, no, I can't unmute you. And then you can do. You're killing me, Small.
You can't tell me the music doesn't pump you up, though.
It does.
It does, right?
Dude, it's literally the first time I've heard this, and I'm singing along already.
I know. It's stupid. Right? Like, I want to
Yeah.
dance, even though I don't dance.
Yeah?
I'm ready. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Raw Thrills is killing it right now, man.
Fire right here.
Yes.
Cruise and Blast.
What a cool name. First of all, Cruise and Blast, cool name. So you guys know why this is so significant, right? Because the guy that runs the show over at Raw Thrills is Eugene Jarvis, and he's the one that was responsible for first Cruisin', Robotron 2084, Defender. So like, it's kind of cool to think that he's kind of running the show, and he's like the only game in town still making games, and he's trying to like reboot some of these old titles. I think that's really cool. I haven't seen it though, but I'm hearing they're in Dave and Buster's and stuff already.
Right.
and they've been
Now,
out for a little while. So I don't know. What do you guys think about this? Like, are you cool with these kind of being reintroduced to a new generation? Because I mean, I don't know. Am I weird for thinking the song is super catchy too? Like,
it is. Some people were saying it was dumb. I think it's really cool.
I do too.
Now I want to look it up. So Cruisin' Blast, how long has it been out? This is cool because it's exciting times. There's a possibility that in the next few months, things are opening up more. And I think, what is that word I'm looking for? Where it's like all people are excited and they're pent up. Is that the right word? Where there's like this, once things really open up, like probably the arcades are going to be killing it, right? Like the physical ones.
I think so, actually. And the weird thing about talking about arcades is here in town, it's weird. All of a sudden, all these people are starting to open up. Like even some new arcades are opening up. But that guy that I talked about on Coffee Talk this morning, his name is Danny. He owns this place called it's called the Player One or something like that arcade. And he said as things are getting better, business is picking up. It's not his only business. He doesn't only do arcades, but yeah, that's what it looks like. Doesn't it look cool? Like, it looks pretty awesome.
Yeah. So this is interesting because I did, it's a Nintendo. Is it Nintendo and how does that work?
I don't think
Thrills,
Nintendo has,
but they have a
anything
logo
to do
in
with
there
it anymore.
Do you think?
Maybe they do. Okay, maybe they do. I don't know if they made anything of it. Maybe they're just like slapping their name on it. I actually don't know. That's a good question. I actually don't know.
Maybe it legitimizes Raw Thrills a little bit more by having the Nintendo. Maybe I heard someone say that Nintendo owns Cruisin', like the name, but Eugene Jarvis like owns the game or something.
Oh my God. Okay. So I have to highlight this super chat because I totally think you should make a guitar version of that song. Like, that would be really fun. And you were kind of singing it. Do you think you can get those high notes? Can you pull that off?
Well, I can
do like
do
a sample of it. Just try it really quick.
Cruising.
Come on. Can I do the backup where I'm like,
sure, we'll try it at the end of the show. All right. So tell me about the Cruisin' games in the past that you really enjoyed, Ralph.
So it's weird. I really enjoyed Exotica. I felt like Cruisin' USA, the original one, that's the one they made fun of in Insert Coin. They made fun of it calling it Snoozin' USA.
Snoozin', yeah.
I feel like Cruisin' USA and Cruisin' World were both pretty boring, and I feel like Cruisin' Exotica was fun. That's the one I like.
Wasn't it Cruisin' and Cruisin' World? Isn't that on the same hardware, I think?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then there's another
Exotica
game that's
on the same hardware too. I think it's all the same hardware.
No, I think Exotica is higher. Is that right?
No, I don't think it is.
We got to look at the website.
Yeah, I don't think it is, but I'm not 100% sure. But we're going to revisit, when we go over to your topic, we're going to revisit, just keep Raw Thrills in mind because we're going to revisit them because they've been doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes that I wasn't really aware of, and I kind of like woke up to it. Like, would you believe me if I said they remade, remember Puzzle Bobble or Bust a Move in America, I think is what it's called? Yeah. Like, they redid Bust a Move. Like, there's a new
modern version.
Yeah, so instead of shooting bubbles, like, you have a cannon and you shoot them. Like, it's just, they're going crazy. And I think it's a shame because they're probably coming up with a lot of these titles while people aren't really going to arcades as much. But I think there's going to be like a cool reemergence. And, if you got Eugene Jarvis behind the scenes, I think you have a pretty solid guy making these decisions,
Yeah, so check it out. The Cruisin', Cruisin' Exotica was on the Zeus 2, which came out in 99, okay? But whereas
that's the one I have.
The 94 and 96 version, that was the prequel. If we go over there, that's on a different unit. It's an older unit.
Oh, funny. Okay, it is.
Yeah, but then Cruisin' World's on the same one.
Okay,
see how
that makes sense.
Yeah, but then also you got Off-Road Challenge.
They don't really seem that upgraded though. Like, if you look at the games, like Cruisin' Exotica doesn't seem that much more graphic intense. But there are things that happen in Cruisin' Exotica, like if you see, there's like that one dinosaur level, like the dinosaurs come and you can like run into the dinosaur and he blows up. So like maybe that stuff required a little bit more more hardware.
In my head, I want to say Cruisin' Exotica has several things, such as seals. Is a joke from anyway.
Cruisin' Exotica actually has some weird parts of it too. Like, there's I don't know what they're going for here. It's very like sexual almost.
Wait, what?
Cruisin' Exotica. Like, there's like women.
Is that what
like
Exotica
moaning.
means?
But I don't know. There's like weird parts of the game where women are like kind of moaning and it's weird. And you're like, but they're kind of doing it to the music. I don't know if King Kong's in here. He can like vouch for me. It's weird. Like it borders on like this should be like a PG-13-ish game or something.
Kind of funny. And Nintendo's
know.
like, yeah, we own that. Nintendo wants all about the Exotica. That's interesting.
It's weird. It actually is weird. Ask it, King Kong, if you're in the chat, comment, because I feel like it's a little sexed up, but maybe it's just me. I feel like it is. But now he's gonna, hopefully he'll agree with me. But
all right,
so I think that's cool.
I think it's really cool. I'm excited about that. I definitely want to go to the arcade when things are a little safer and things open up a little bit more, and definitely contribute to that. I'm sure. Now, is there a way to find out if the Cruisin' Exotica is available? I'm sure I could do a search, right, and see if like one of the local arcades has it or is going to have it. It's kind of thinking of
Cruisin'? Oh, this one?
The new one.
You're talking about the new one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think that it'd probably be one of those staples that would be. I don't know. See, like Incredible Technologies has a search thing, which is really cool. Like,
right.
The maker of Golden Tee and Silver Strike, you can go to their website and say like, here's my zip code, and it'll show you all of them in town. I don't know that Raw Thrills does that. So, but I wonder if like, I haven't gone to maybe Dave and Buster's website would tell you what games are at which facility, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Not sure.
So check this out, Ralph. I'm super excited about something, and I know you know about it, but you may not know how excited I am about it now, because I had, as Michael Scott says, I had an epiphany.
Can I ask you a question before you disclose it?
Yeah.
Does it have a super rockin' cool theme song like mine did?
Dang it. No.
See, I was trying to. Okay, well, I'm sure it's still really cool though.
Okay, for all you arcade fans out there, like, dude, check this out. I'm gonna give you one that's more relevant, right? Hit one in the chat if you like modding arcades. Like either their original arcades, maybe their home arcades, but you like modding them and throwing other stuff inside of them, right? Because you want to expand its capabilities. You want to expand its catalog. You want to be able to play some of the more rare games, right? Games that maybe are not, the top title. So I'm gonna talk about something we need to be talking about. It's the Mr.Cade. All right.
Oh, the reason cool. Why, that's a good one.
The reason why I want to talk about the Mr.Cade is about to blow up. That's what I think. So we got Scarlet Sprites, who talked about the Mr.Cade. Tomorrow, Bob's releasing his video that explains how he took a Mr.Cade and it's JAMA compatible, so it's hot swappable into an arcade. So remember, Ralph, how I said I had a Neo Geo, and I haven't received it yet. I'm still debating what to do with it. So I have an MVS single board, right, with the 161. What is it? 161 and 1.
161 and 1. Yep.
Yeah, the game card. So that's an option. But I also have a Mister. And so with the Mr.Cade, what is the Mr.Cade? It is an add-on board to the DE10 Nano. So first, you may want to understand what a Mister is. So a Mister is an FPGA-based emulation device. And the second topic, we'll get more into that, why I think it's super exciting. But for the simple version, they are preserving arcade history by documenting the schematics of tons of arcades. And the Mister, the FPGA, can recreate the exact schematics. If written and documented well, it can recreate that in the FPGA. And the add-on board makes the Mister have JAMA out. So really the Neo Geo that I have, that I bought but I haven't received yet, it's going to be JAMA ready, right? It's got a nice CRT on it. It's got controls all ready to go with the JAMA harness. Plug that sucker into the Mr.Cade, which is the add-on board, put my Mister on top of it, and it's going to be able to emulate tons of arcade systems, right? Down to the, the logic level, and in the last couple of years, people have continued to contribute to this open source project, this idea of, documenting history by these engineers going through and reverse engineering these circuits so that we can play some of these games, the way they were intended to be. So let me ask you, Ralph, if you had a Mr.Cade, what could you do with a Mr.Cade?
Well, I could play all of right now, I mean, so it's kind of weird, right? Because I have that one board that's based on the Capcom CPS2 board. So you guys like X-Men versus Street Fighter, for those who don't know, it wasn't a CPS1 game, it was a CPS2 game. And there's this company that created basically this board you put on top of it, and then you load all your ROMs on an SD card, but it actually runs it on real hardware, so it's not emulation at all. It's not emulation at all.
Right.
So like I was really excited about that, and I just finally started using it. But this kind of makes that sort of obsolete. Like there's no reason to even use that really anymore. So if I had one, I could make one arcade cabinet that kind of just had all the arcade games I wanted on it. But it doesn't do everything yet, but it's pretty close. They keep adding more and more and more to it. So it's a really cool device if you're into original arcades, because it kind of now just, well, it's even cool if you don't, because the Mister's cool by itself. You can, just play regular console games on it too. So it's a pretty cool device.
Yeah, so the Mister's been out for a while. What's nice about it is they picked this team of people picked hardware that's easily accessible, and the people that are behind it are not selling the Mister hardware necessarily, right? They don't have much to benefit from selling the DE10 Nano. That's a development board. But to join this project, all of your code has to be open source, right? And it's like, I think some in the chat are talking about like MAME, and there is difference with like the Mister project versus MAME. I mean, MAME, they kind of overlap a little bit. The entire idea is to be able to document the hardware. It's just the way Mister works is it's at the schematic level, right? And when you're writing software emulation, which is also really good as well, you're writing a software emulation that's running on an operating system. And so what's cool about Mistercade is they're really trying something new, right? And so in my head, I'm like, hey, let's say that you bought an arcade board, I'm sorry, like an arcade system, but the arcade board is broken. It's damaged, right? One option is swap it out with a Mistercade and then use the exact core that exact system was designed with. And you've basically restored your arcade. And when someone comes up to it, as long as the core was designed very well, and again, they're down to the logic level. They're like, this chip and this chip has to talk to that chip, and they're just black box reverse engineering it. They do it well. You might not even notice the difference at all. There's going to be no lag, right?
I mean, most people don't. Most people don't notice the difference. I mean, there was I don't want to get too geeky on the topic, but the guy that's responsible for all the, like, think about anything Street Fighter would be CPS1. He found a bug that the games were not running the right speed. And I guess it's something that's been in MAME for like a really long time, and he figured it out and he corrected it on Mister. And now it's like almost identical. Like you can't even tell the difference. So it's pretty cool. I mean, it definitely is it's gonna potentially, I think they do need to make it, it'd be cool if they had a commercial version of it. So you wouldn't have to do all the tinkering.
It's cool.
Some people don't want to do that.
That can happen because all the cores are open source in such a way where someone else can come out and build hardware and say, we're going to use, I think it's like the Cyclone 5 or whatever, the same FPGA, and build a console essentially. And then they don't sell the cores, but you could load the cores.
Yeah.
And to my understanding,
has a good question, dude, because I haven't added up the cost of. So just so you guys know, the base board is called the DE10 Nano, and the Mistercade's like another board that goes on top of it. So how much is the total? Like, I don't know how much it would cost total.
Yeah, you want to go to mraddons.com, and that website, he's the guy behind a lot of the add-on parts for the Mister, thus the name Mister Add-on. And what is it? The DE10 Nano is about $150, I don't know.
I don't know what it is anymore. When I bought it, I want to say it was like 150-ish, I think.
So, yeah, for the DE10 Nano, I think it's about 150. But then right now, it's like you got to kind of have to learn like which configuration you want. Like, do you want it to be able to do this? So you might buy the extra SD RAM that increases the amount of SD RAM that is on it, so it can play like things like Neo Geo, right? And then so you can buy different parts to it. But I think even the DE10 Nano by itself, $150, can go really far. Just that unit alone.
Yeah, you can play, I can't remember, I think it's like you can play TurboGrafx, I think, with the base. You can play Genesis with the base.
Nintendo, yeah.
Nintendo. So I think,
Oh, like
no, I don't know. I
almost
can't remember, but it's pretty
everything
good.
since 1950 can be played, to be clear.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, it's definitely a cool device. I just wish for the masses, it would be someone would decide to do a consumer version of it because
Yeah.
it does take, like, the thing is, it's kind of like anybody that gets into virtual pinball. Virtual pinball is a never ending hobby because you're always doing updates. Like, if any of you guys go out and you buy a pinball machine, like one of these ones, whoever it is, pick your manufacturer, the 3/4 scale one, and then you actually mod it, you will forever be upgrading it. Like, it never stops.
Right.
So it's just one of those things that hobby tends to not. And Mister's the same thing. There's always updates, but they've made the updating part easier. You can connect it to Wi-Fi and it kind of does the updates for you. So at least that part isn't as bad. Dude, someone asked a question that's super relevant right now. Dude, what is up with the freaking Polymega? You and I were super hyped on that earlier this year. Now I don't even know if it's actually ever going to come out now.
Yeah, I don't know. I've heard a little bit. I've been following it a little bit. I don't know what the latest news is. It's something like they lost their license, but then I heard someone else say, well, that happens. They just it's just paperwork or something. So maybe they'll fix that. And then Walmart.
I mean, dude,
they're not selling them at Walmart anymore. Is that right? We should be.
Weren't we supposed to be getting them like around this time? And it doesn't even seem like we're going to.
You remember we talked about. Remember, we're doing the new thing. We're going to talk about whatever's actually on our mind, right? Just absolutely no filter, right? We said that, right?
Yeah.
We talked about we're going to keep doing all these investments into different companies, Arcade1Up, at games. Like every single time you spend hundreds of dollars on one of these units, especially brand new ones, you're taking a risk because you're an early adopter, right? You may buy the unit and it's horrible. And what are you going to do?
Look at me. I went and bought the Gamer Pro for $300 and now the Gamer Pro is $100. It's actually a great deal at $100.
Right.
That's at $100,
your review at $100 would be completely different, huh?
Well, it's funny. People are commenting on me. They're like, $100, coin ops, peace out. Like they're jumping into my video and they're saying things like it's $100, coin ops, like this is stupid or whatever. They're like making fun of me, but I'm like, whatever.
Yeah. So check this out. Think about it. We were then afraid of IR Arcade. Maybe that was going to be the one that screws us. Like we're going to invest. We're going to spend $500 or $600 on a new product.
Worried, dude.
Yeah,
I was freaked out that we were going to tell people to buy it and it wasn't going to come out. Like I legitimately thought like we were going to be in big trouble because something was going to happen bad.
Hank pointed out, it's now at Wally World, right? It's Walmart selling IR Arcade now.
Yeah, so now when you're in Walmart, that's a good thing. That's a good sign, right?
That's right.
That you're doing something right. So,
but is it gonna be the Polymega? Because I spent top dollar.
It might be the Polymega, dude.
Oh man!
I mean, the freaking Atari VCS came out, so the fact that thing came out, dude, the Polymega better come out. I want to know why. The past 2 years, like almost the past 2 years, I've been buying up all these PS1 games for the simple fact that I want to put them on a Polymega. So like I have a PS1, but I don't want to hook it up to my PS1.
Right.
I wanted to load them all on the hard drive.
Load them and then play them and select them. Oh, they better.
Even though I could totally get they have an emulate. They have a what's it called for? Why am I spacing out? The devices that allow you to put the CD-ROM emulators. What the hell are those called?
What is it called? Optical drive emulator. ODE.
Yeah, they have one for PS1, right?
Uh-huh.
They have an ODE. Yeah, I mean, I could totally do that, but I really got excited. The part that got me most excited, and maybe I was buying into the marketing, was like the Netflix-ish abilities of the Polymega, that I could load games and it's going to use AI to be like Ralph-like side-scrolling beat-em-ups and like show me games I don't know about. That's what I got excited about. I don't know, man. Yeah, someone said in Television Amico, he may be out before the freaking Polymega, and he's had a lot of issues.
Yeah. Maybe it's one of those things where they bit off more than they could chew. They wanted it to be the kitchen sink and give you everything you wanted, and now they weren't able to deliver anything. And I've seen that before in software engineering, where it's like sometimes it's worth to sit down and say, we're going to do an MVP product. This is we're a company, and this is our first product we're coming out with. We're going to come out with something really simple,
just so that we can. Sometimes Justin says smart things and thinks them automatically. MVP would be minimal viable product. It's like the
Sorry.
basic level thing that you can sell. It's like, all right, it's good enough to sell. It's past beta, and we can sell it. It's the final product, but we can update it in the field, kind of thing.
Yeah, and
Usually is how that goes.
maybe you don't even start with a Polymega. You're like, hey, we're gonna make a Nintendo clone or something like that. That's it. But you've exercised the entire, gone to retail, communicated with retail, sold it, supported it, whatever, and then you come out with the big one.
The Garage Gamer changed it to the Polynata, which I think is actually really funny.
It's really good. Okay, so Ralph, what do you got? What's your next one?
All right, so my next one is also arcade related, but this one is like kind of crazy actually. Like I don't even know what to think about this. So I'll show you it's really neat. So it's a Sega game.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be a Sega arcade game. Let me share my screen. And then I have a video for it too. I get a lot of information, guys. If you're curious, if you're like a bit big into arcades, these Arcade Heroes guys are actually really awesome. They've got a great blog, and they're constantly talking about things that they're on top of it all the time. And I think they have some deep relationships with like a lot of these companies that are out there. But I know you make fun of me for saying my hair looks like Tom Cruise in one of Mission Impossibles, but
yeah,
they're making this like really wild looking Mission Impossible arcade where it's like you walk into it.
What?
So yeah, like you have like the red team versus the blue team, but like it's really neat. And I think the screen behind it is like a spectator screen. It looks freaking awesome. Like it looks really, really cool. But look, see how like you have both teams, and I think you have this like it looks amazingly cool.
I've never seen this.
Yeah, well, it's brand new. I think right now they're taking orders for it. So if you're like a Dave and Buster's, you can order it. But see how it has like you have dual guns that you have, and they're mounted to like a turret kind of thing. Like it looks really neat. So
Sega is really cool.
And this will come out in the States too, so it's not just international. But I would imagine the thing is, I was just talking to a guy the other day, and I think it's hard because he was kind of saying something interesting. He's like, look, we're actually, because I was like, how do you make money when you buy things like this? Because these are like 10 grand or 20 grand or whatever.
Yeah, that one's probably 20, right?
Oh, it's probably super expensive. It's got to be. Look how big it is. Like, how do you even, I'm assuming it comes in parts and stuff. But he's like, well, he goes, there's two ways you could look at it. He said, a lot of these older arcades, we're always repairing them. So he said, they're like, yes, they're making money, but we're always having to fix them. And he said, the modern ones, most of them just run on a PC. So he's like, the maintenance part of it doesn't require anyone specialized anymore. Because if a monitor breaks, it's like, oh, it's basically an LCD panel, and those are abundant. And they're so cheap that they just replace them if they break. You know what I mean? So it's like the repair of them has gone way down. The upfront cost is more expensive though. But anyways, I just thought you guys would think this is cool. And I had there's a Mission Impossible video. I think it's a short one. It's like 60 seconds, but it's the trailer for it.
Let's check it out.
Yeah, it's the trailer for it. Here it is. Are we going to get a copyright for this?
Probably.
Oh,
Consider this mission your final test. As always, should any member of your team be caught or killed, the Secretary will disavow all knowledge of your actions. This message will self-destruct in 5 seconds. Good luck.
Oh, it's totally. It's the music, right? We're gonna get screwed because of the music. Oh man. I just love that they're coming out with like Sega's just still doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But look at this. It's like chase, and you have your 2 guns mounted. Like you basically are always fighting with 2 guns. It looks so cool. I think they talk about the ordering of it. Oh no, maybe it's a different trailer I'm thinking of. Yeah, right here. It's like contact Sega. It costs a ton of money. But
Sega.
but I don't know. I guess I wouldn't. I don't know. I feel like there's. I'm just very. I don't know. I guess the word is I'm encouraged that these types of things are still continuing to come out. Oh shoot! It says this thing will be in the neighborhood of 32,000.
There you go.
Holy crap!
There you go.
Well, this is the super deluxe version. So this may be in a Dave and Buster's, though. I can see Dave and Buster's having something like that. Don't you think?
Yeah, I think so. One of the last arcades I went to, I'll show you. It had one of these. I don't know if you saw it. I'm sure you saw it, right?
Is it the Jurassic Park one?
No, it's the gigantic Halo machine.
I need to see this. That's got to be super expensive too. I have never seen one yet. I've just seen pictures.
About 2 years ago, some work buddies, we all went to. It's like a bowling alley place, but it's infinite, unlimited credits, right? We had free play for like 2 hours, and we beat it. We beat the game. Like, it was hard. Like, I think we played for 45 minutes.
Wait, this Halo thing? You guys beat this?
Yeah, we beat the game. Because we just kept on adding credits, and it about 3/4 of the way in, we all looked at each other like, "Are we really doing this?" Because it was really, really fun for about 30 minutes, and then it's like, okay, I'm just killing people. I'm just killing people.
Well, yeah, I know. They do.
But the Mission Impossible looks cool.
It looks really cool just because they're gonna have it. Because if you've ever been to a Dave and Buster's, they had this. This game was not very cool in my opinion. Did you ever go? My kids loved to go there before, but it was like a Jurassic Park thing.
Yeah.
And it was VR. You put VR goggles on. Have you ever played it? And you have the scanner and you have to scan all the dinosaurs. But there's this scene where you're going off the end of this cliff and you're like, dude, like the VR part of it was like insane. You felt like you were going off a cliff. So it was more of a ride than a game. Yep. But that game had to be super expensive. It had an attendant. There was like a person there that strapped you in and stuff. So, what about Star Wars BattlePod?
Yeah, that one's good too.
Yeah. Oh God, it's really good. Yeah, for sure. And I do know about it. It is Star Wars. I do love Sega. Reset Rudy. Thanks for the super chat, Lewis. I do love Sega. I don't know what it is. I just love Sega everything.
Are you talking about this one?
Yeah, they had that at our it's that exact one. It didn't look like that though. It was like a bigger one. It was almost arena seating. It was like that, but you could sit. Yeah, that was that one. That's the one they had at my Dave and Buster's here.
I haven't seen that one.
They had a freaking attendant. But when you went over the edge, you're like in the Jeep or you're in some vehicle and you're scanning all these dinosaurs, and it's kind of like peaceful at first. And then all of a sudden you have this part where you're going off of a bridge and the whole like thing kind of raises up. But it was, imagine you've done Oculus Quest now, so you know how real that feels. But imagine having like the whole like something hydraulic lifting you up as you're going over the edge. I was like, holy crap. It was very real. It was very real. Oh, wait. So Jeff Rainwater says, if you all are ever up at Seattle, I'll take you to GameWorks. You'd love it. So GameWorks, we don't have a GameWorks around here, but I've seen them before. Like I've been to one in Chicago, and GameWorks are always like really legit. So that's cool.
Bachelor has a point. What is a Dave and Buster's?
What do you mean?
It's not called Dave and Buster's.
Dave and Buster's, right?
Yeah, but he says you're saying Dave and Buster's.
I don't know. Just make it Dave and Buster. Dave and Buster. It sounds weird if I say Dave and Buster's.
Yeah.
Is it and Buster's?
I don't know.
You say
Who knows?
You say
Dave and Buster's. Everyone says Dave and Buster's. Yeah, I think everybody says
too.
Yeah.
I think.
All right. So you're super excited about an arcade that we can't play anytime soon, right? I don't know. Like,
no, they're taking orders for it, so it's supposed to. I think it's supposed to come out. Hell no. I'm sure if it's 30 grand. No, that'd be a big no. But
would you mod it? Would you put a Pi in it?
Yes, I would definitely. I'd be like, this is super cool, and I'm sure the processor on this thing is light years beyond the Raspberry Pi, but we're gonna put a Pi in it.
Pi 4 though. If you do Pi 4, you're good. There's so much better.
Well, Pi 4 can play everything. All right. So Stringer Film says Mission Impossible Arcade always gives me that feeling I used to get every time oh gosh. Okay.
See,
thanks for the super chat.
That's the problem when you don't pre-read the super chat.
Yeah. I was like,
you can see
to him. To him, that's
calculate.
worth $5 just to see me cringe.
Yeah, you can see how Ralph's brain works. Watch that on the replay, right? He can read ahead just about 2 words, and because about 2 words, I said, nope.
I was like, oh, oops. Zohar's taking everything and adding, what's in and out burger? He had another funny one too, but I missed it. It went by too fast.
So before we transition to another topic, I got a quick question. Someone reached out to me. They actually asked me to ask you this question.
Okay.
They said, okay, let's say that you wanted to mod. It's not really mod, right? Forget it. You want to build a ability to play driving games. So
Okay.
you're going to go buy the steering wheel and the pedals, and you want good haptic feedback. Should you go buy a Pi 4?
No, that would be a PC all day long.
Okay.
Yeah. I think just from the general supportability aspects of it, like all those wheels are designed for PCs and consoles. I actually don't 100%. I don't know what the wheel compatibility is for a Pi, but I just feel like that would add a whole other element of complexity to it that I wouldn't want to go down. I'm not saying it doesn't work. It probably does. I'm sure there's ways to do it, but I wouldn't do it. I would go.
So
PC.
you would say the Logitech G90, is that what it is?
G920, I think is what it is.
And then with hyper spin, something like
I
that.
don't know, dude. It depends because it depends on what you really want to get out of it. Because, there's so many great console racers. Like if you're not looking for retro stuff, it's really cool to just get a wheel and like have an Xbox. There's so many great games that are compatible with wheels that you can play on the Xbox. So if you want more of the modern experience,
or PlayStation 3, 4,
yeah,
5.
there's so many. Yeah, so it's like I struggle with this one because it's pretty complex to build a racing machine actually. Like there's a lot that goes into it.
So dude, I see a super chat. Oh, I got another topic I want to go to, but okay, we said we have a couple rules on this show. One of the rules that we created right when we started, which isn't really a YouTube rule, but it was like if there's a super chat, you have to read it, and whatever they ask, you have to answer. It's kind of a thing we just always did, even though it's never written anywhere that YouTubers have to do that. I just saw it on some other Star Wars show. The guy always did that, and I told Ralph it's kind of cool. But the other thing we talked about is like this show itself is formatted because we literally wanted to talk about certain subjects to each other. I wanted to show Ralph things, right? He wants to show me things, right? And so that's
No,
the
you're
topics
opening
that
up Stringer Films to say all sorts of crazy things, but yeah.
Well, we got a super chat. Now check this out.
Yeah.
We don't have an NDA with Arcade 1-Up.
We don't have an NDA with anyone.
No, we don't actually.
So,
And so, Ralph,
we're rogue.
you have to say what's on your mind. Any word on
word?
Arcade 1-Up making The Simpsons sometime this year? Don't hold back.
My impression based on things that John has said and other people over there is that they will make that this year. The problem I think is I think so. But I think the problem is going to be I don't think I'm going to be a big fan of the bundle they're going to create. I think they're going to put that on there and the rest of the titles on it are going to be underwhelming. Because you could build a killer Konami cabinet.
Oh, yeah.
If you put, and I don't think they're going to do that.
Yeah,
I think they're going to put other games you're not going to want.
It's
So
all Simpsons for sure.
yeah, you're going to have to really love Simpsons to want it, I think. And I don't love Simpsons enough. I'll just play that on something. I'll go play Simpsons on like some other device that has it, like some other multicade or something. Like, yeah, if you want Simpsons that bad, honestly, I wouldn't. I don't know. I don't think the lineup's going to be good. That's my opinion on that. But I think they're going to do it this year.
Yeah, I also think it's going to be cross publisher. It's not.
Oh,
just
you
gonna
do?
be-
Oh, I don't think that.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's a Simpsons game out there that's another publisher. It's not Konami that they're going to put on there.
The bowling one?
Nope. There's yet another one.
I don't know what it is. What one are you talking about? Why are you being all secretive? Do you have an NDA with this company that you're talking about? No, what are you talking about? What game?
Man,
Capper?
No, I didn't say that.
Well, you were drinking beer. I don't know. Oh, wait, what are you doing? Monster Energy drink? Are you doing product placement? What are you doing? You're like. That was funny. Why did you take like drinks of 6 different things? What was that? Was that a
I don't
clue?
know.
Was that actually a clue?
All I can
or
say
you-
is my clues are way better than John D's. I'll tell you that.
All right, I have no idea what you're talking about now. I'm really confused. I
All
really
right,
don't know.
So next topic, check this out. This is something.
So you're gonna leave me hanging? What was that?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
all right. Thank
okay,
you, Steve,
fine,
for the super
fine,
chat, by
fine,
the way.
Ralph. They're going to come out with The Simpsons, and they're going to add bowling on it, and it's going to be Root Beer Tapper. Are you happy? The problem is Root Beer Tapper is not a Konami game, and it's going to be skinned for Simpsons.
But they put Tapper on the Mortal Kombat
cares?
thing. That's
cares?
right. They double it up all the time.
Yeah.
FYI, I got straight AS.
He got straight A's.
Yeah.
And evidently you didn't.
I'm from Rhode Island.
Oh, I'm
the
sorry.
schools in Rhode Island are terrible.
I told you before the show started that I wasn't going to say any jokes like making fun of you. Like I have a new thing. Like,
No,
I'm
those
chill.
are that's a friendly joke. Sometimes you do ones that are mean. You can do your normal friendly ones, but sometimes you do mean ones.
Okay, so Ralph, I
Do
need you to do
non-mean
me.
spirited jokes.
I need you to do me a favor.
Yeah.
You need
Skip to Grease.
you need to watch Analog Frontiers
I watched
Part
it.
3. Did you watch Part 3?
I watched it.
Dude,
it was awesome.
this is so great. Okay, so those in the chat who don't know, Analog Frontiers now is 3 episodes.
It's
There's
really good.
several reasons why this episode is so good. I'm not going to play any of the content out of respect of them, but I will scan through. There's interviews from people that are in the retro gaming industry. Like right here is the engineer behind HD Retrovision, so all those awesome cables. Let's see, there's a lot of new modding hardware that's coming out. You got. I'm gonna get an ad now, right? Zohar is or not Zohar.
What?
Voltar. I almost said Zohar. So Voltar is in it, and which is one of the best YouTubers that explains how to solder things very, very well. He takes the time to teach it. Anyway, so those are kind of like it's a documentary series, and they interview those guys. One of the coolest things that I love about this episode is they talk about piracy a lot.
Yeah, I
and
actually,
they really get
it was
into
good.
it.
It was good. I loved the way they talked about that because I think it gave me a different perspective on it.
Yes.
I feel like I'm always emotional about it, and they took all
Yeah.
the emotion out of it. It was very like factual. It was like, look, these are the facts. A lot of these games are out of print. You can't get them anywhere. And I actually really agree with that one. When the game is out of print, now I think out of print is more of a term they used to use in like movie industry. But if if a movie was out of print, like you can't get the DVD anymore. And
Right.
there's a lot of games where they're not selling them in any way, shape, or form. You can't get them on, you can't get them physical, you can't get them digital, and they're like 20, 30 years old. But they do talk about that one stupid digital act, which is like, it actually kind of like puts this the gray area is almost because of that. It's like this weird stipulation that there's this enormous amount of time that has to go by before it's kind of like open community. And I think it's kind of BS. And they talk a little bit about that. It was really good.
Really good.
I
It
definitely
really-
recommend everyone watching it.
Yeah, it really did. It did alter my thoughts on piracy in general. I don't think this video or people talking about that all of a sudden gives everyone the right or the excuse to just like, I'm going to plaster the internet with my ROM set and watch me get away with it. Like, no, dude, like you do that, there's somebody out there that has justification to take you down. And you don't want to be that guy that gets taken down, that person. So when it comes to piracy, you still have to be careful. And the areas
there are
where
areas, Justin, there are areas where like I'm shocked at some of the stuff, and I actually fell victim to part of it. But like, there's certain things where you just should know not to touch. Like for instance, I'll throw this out there.
Yep.
Raw Thrills. Some of the Raw Thrills games you're able to emulate those on Technoparrot. I wouldn't touch that stuff. I mean,
Why
they're
is that?
still selling it. They're still actually selling it, making money on it. Where I think most of the stuff that people put on, like when people are doing coin ops on their like Legends Ultimate or whatever, they're playing games that mostly you can't buy anymore. Like there's no way to procure the game. So I get that, but like to do it where you're actually potentially, maybe it's okay if you're going to use it for your own personal use and not talk about it. But if you're going to then
Sure.
like if you're going to sell it, I think that's a whole other ball game. Like you have to be careful with that.
And here's why. There's, XS rays mix of, is anyone non-commercial getting shut down though? And it's a good point because there's different levels of piracy. There's end user piracy, there's commercial piracy, there's different forms. And so imagine you're a business, right? And you sell a product right now and you're raking in money. You're doing really well. You worked hard for your money and money is coming in. Let's say it's Raw Thrills and you're selling to arcade owners right now. And then you find out, and it doesn't matter who you are. Like maybe there's this big company out there that's like doing piracy, right? But then there's this small guy over here that's doing, I'm not familiar with this Techno Parrot, but I understand it bundles things that are for sale right now. Let's say you are that person that they find out for whatever reason, you're the person that gets like ratted out to Raw Thrills. They have a lawyer. They get the lawyer involved. They're going to shut you down. Right.
But
that is then going after end users. Right.
Well, I shouldn't say rooted. I think the question was rooted in like, what's the chances? Like if you were just doing it for your own personal use, like if I go download this emulator and go play with it, like if I do that at home and I don't have a show, I'm not a YouTuber, I'm just a dude doing it at home, no one's going to care. Literally 0.0 people are going to care.
Let me make it clear. In my example, let's just say Raw Thrills decided to go after someone that's reselling. It's very unlikely that they're then going to go after the people that downloaded it. That would be the end users, right? They're going to go after the distributors and shut them down because they're making noise and they're looking embarrassed and they feel like they have to react to it. You don't want to be that on that side of it. Now, if you're talking about ROMs that are 30 years old, where's the lawyer that's doing that? Where's his motivation to go shut that down? It doesn't exist.
Yeah, but I do think there was something interesting that they talked about. And everyone was almost in agreement with this. I think if you made more of the historical stuff, like it's kind of silly. Like how can you be these big companies like Sega, Nintendo, Konami, and be sitting on titles that they see us salivating over all of these companies coming out with a game? It almost seems like, are they stupid? Like how come someone over there isn't going, let's start a retro division of our company where literally we focus on getting these, and I know there's licensing things, but anything can be done with a little bit of like will, right? Why don't these companies try to capitalize? Because if you can't tell me, any of you guys, if it was like Click and I Get It, the game I loved as a kid, I'd do that all day long. If you gave me a Portal and you said, think about it. I think IA Arcade is a good example of that. There's games on there that people can literally get cheaper on the Android store, and they're still buying it on the IA Arcade because it's convenience. Like people pay for convenience.
Well, think about it.
It's like, do I hunt it down or do I click and I have it and I'm playing it in 5 minutes? Like,
it's so weird. You got the gaming industry, which is huge, right? If you look in the numbers for gaming industry, we're talking
ridiculous
billions of dollars, right? Let's talk about the movies for a second. Who is familiar with these services? Netflix, Disney Plus.
Are you gonna ask people how many people download illegal movies than like ridicule?
No,
I'm kidding.
That's funny. But think about it. There's tons of people out there that pay for like a Discovery Plus. You know, what else? It's like every single studio out there that has retro content, right?
Well, that
Hulu
is getting
is
excessive
filled with
though.
movies
But now it's
in the 80s.
But don't you think it's now getting almost ridiculous that there's so many streaming services that like it's getting out of control? But I get what you're saying.
But it's accessible. And those services, some of them have hundreds of millions of subscribers, like the top 3, your Disney Plus, your Netflix, your Hulu, right? Hulu's like at 60 or 70, right? Millions of subscribers. And some of their cost is, we're talking like $7 or $8 to $15, and you get access to tens of thousands. HBO Max, Lewis is mentioning. Good point, right?
Yeah.
Where is that for the gaming industry?
Yeah. Antstream is the closest thing.
Game Pass?
Well,
Xbox.
for retro games, Antstream is the closest thing. They just don't have as many of the bigger titles yet. And Antstream's cool, but I think their problem is connection speed is really bad because I think most of their servers are overseas. So like the experience isn't great, but I'm really surprised someone honestly, if a company didn't have like AtGames has their streaming services, and I think they're investing more time and money into that. IA Arcade's got their thing. It almost seemed but I think Atari VCS partnered with Antstream. But if I was Arcade 1UP and I'm like, hey, I do need to have some kind of multicade option, they would be a great company to partner with because their catalogs kick ass. Mm-hmm. So you build an Antstream cabinet, right, with the control layouts. But also Antstream could totally partner with like a DIY kit company too, right? And say, hey, you can put our little you put this board inside your arcade, and now all of a sudden you have a connected arcade. Maybe we're just not there yet. Maybe it's still a little bit like
there's
early.
another one like Plex. They're working on a technology. Plex is good for, you want to watch content that you physically have, and you can distribute that throughout your house, but there's also integrated services. They started to add a service for gaming, right? And this allows you to play your ROMs that you've obtained on the Plex service, but the Plex service can run locally on a computer or a media server, and then now you can play those games like on a Fire Stick, on a Samsung TV, on an LG TV, because all those are platforms that Plex delivers to. Now, some people had tested that, and there's a little bit of lag because it's like they're using Bluetooth to the device, but they're in beta right now. That technology could grow, and as technology grows, hardware grows, it could be possible for a technology like Plex to be like, you know what? We'll provide the legit part, which is we're going to use cores that are freely available, that were white box reverse engineered. There's no commercial license. We'll set that up. We'll just make it easy for you to connect your own ROMs and be able to play on platforms all over the place. That's their angle that they're going for, but it would be really cool if it was treated more like movies, right? Or think about this, Ralph. Remember back in the 90s, how did you download your illegal music, right?
Yeah, Napster.
Right. And then now it's like there's the series
now I don't even
of...
think about like I have never in the past 10 years been like, music torrents or anything. Like I have no reason to. I just buy it or I subscribe to a service that I can listen to it immediately.
Yeah, most of it now I think is just Pandora. And then like my brother's a producer, and he was saying like he's been recommending to some of his bands that he's producing to not even put out an album anymore. Just like the industry could potentially change. Think about how you have an album of 13 songs that you want to create, and you go to the studio, and maybe you got the drummer to lay down the tracks, and you got the guitar tracks, and then you have vocals, and you're going to go through every single song, and you're going to get it all polished, all mastered, and then you put it out as an album. Or you can just work on one song and then release it to all the streaming services. That's that one song.
Yeah.
And then if enough people hit like on that, it's going to go kind of viral, right? Because the song is that good, and you get paid for ads. Like, dude, that's unheard of 20 years ago.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, it's
gaming doesn't have any of that.
I don't know why. I mean, someone said, Steve said something like Stadia, but for retro. Yeah, I mean, I think so. The Polymega kind of could be that. I thought it might. Plex partnered with Parsec and their service is $3 a month. But what is that? Is that
Parsec
is
they're a company in New York that they created the technology in the last 5 or 6 years to be able to, what's their part? Like a NetPlay service, is that right? I remember watching a documentary on Parsec.
But is it for gaming?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, Retro RGB he interviewed the CEO of Parsec, and you should look into it.
Oh yeah, King Kong
play with
Parsec is to play with your friends. Okay, I haven't ever played with it. I don't have friends, so. CDs don't sell. Records outsold the CD for the first time in decades. That's funny. That's actually that is very true. Like you guys are together but not local. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I feel like definitely all these companies have to be getting a lot of attention. Like there's got to be other people thinking, all right, well, how can we capitalize this? We have all these back catalogs we're not doing a whole lot with. Let's kind of do something new. But yeah, we'll see. I don't know. It's just it's weird. I feel like depending on when you guys got into the hobby of the arcade reemergence stuff, right? Because you can almost argue the arcade reemergence thing kind of started to pick up a lot more steam after, these companies came out and started creating these products for us to buy. Mm-hmm. But I do think there's like, I don't know. I think if you're brand new into it, it's like everyone's entering a hobby at different times. But I'm getting to the point where I'm like, okay, like do something different. Show me something that's going to surprise me now. Like do something crazy cool. I feel like at Games is doing a lot of this like really neat, innovative stuff. Mm-hmm. But like simplicity is what I like. I think simple, easy, like, I don't know. It's just, I feel like you get greater adoption if it's just click and you're there, right? Instead of having to hunt things down.
Accessibility, right? You got to make that product accessible to many people, then many people will buy it, right?
And I also do think that doing, and I don't know if they're gonna, I don't know what the future is gonna hold for them. It seems like they keep on getting more interesting titles, but the whole like platform app idea that IA Arcade has is really cool. Like that is a really cool idea. And I don't know. I don't know why a game company wouldn't want to just put it on their marketplace, right? What's there to lose? It's on there, it's on there and people could potentially buy it. I mean, I know they have to pay to put it there, but I mean,
Right.
the
There may
user
be a
base
little bit
seems
of
to be
integration
adopting the
time,
games.
maybe. So
Yeah,
it's
maybe.
not as easy.
Oh, that's
but
true. I wasn't.
Maybe they
thinking
could
that. It's not
streamline
like,
that.
yeah, that might be the part. Is how long does it take to get it dialed into that actual system, right? So that it works well on the system.
All right, Ralph, well, let's do this. You ready? You ready for this? I think you're going to do it.
Wait, what? We're not ending, are we?
Dude, you said
Oh,
1
no,
hour.
no, there's one more thing I have to
We're
show.
3
I have to
minutes.
show
Okay,
it.
go
It's
for it.
quick. Okay, I have to show this, guys, because I came across this.
Mhm.
Imagine, okay, in what world? Hold on, let me actually tee it up so I have it.
In
so I
a
have it.
world.
Okay. In what world would you ever think about Big Buck Hunter and Terminator together? Like, would you ever put those two together? Like, would you ever think of Big Buck Hunter and Terminator ever? Probably not. Like, they're polar opposites.
Right.
Check this out.
Get to the chopper. New cabinet design. Coming 2020. Maybe.
All right. So I've seen one of these. They're super cool, dude. Why am I black? All right. Dude, like, how cool is that? So they figured out a way to just say, hey, look, let's kind of like consolidate these shooter games onto a single cabinet.
Mm-hmm.
That is awesome. Like, that is really cool. It's not anything new. It's been out for a little while now. And I don't know. I'm going to see what it costs. I can't remember what it costs. It's
So
pretty
you're saying
expensive.
it's a cabinet that has multiple games on it. Whoa.
But it's cool that they would actually like integrate Monsters Lost Island. I think it's like Monsters Lost Island, Duck Dynasty. There's a Doe of the Dead, which is like zombie
Right.
deer, which is kind of
Yeah.
wild. And then Terminator Salvation on a single cabinet. But like, and again, that's Raw Thrills. Like they're the only ones keeping all this stuff alive, but they're coming up with cool concepts. Like that's neat to me. So it gets me excited that maybe when arcades are more open and accessible, there's a lot of cool stuff. And I'm not saying this isn't for your house. This is so you can go in and be social and be out again. And so like we're not quite there where everyone's out and doing stuff again, but I love that like this will be neat for us to be able to go into an arcade and play some really neat games, So got to give props to Raw Thrills for doing some cool stuff. And welcome to the Raw Thrills Weekly live. I'm kidding. I'm joking.
All right. I think out of all the 4 topics, everyone in the chat, let us know your favorite topic. I think Ralph might have been the winner. You know why I think Ralph is the winner?
Because I had video. I made it flashy.
Well, like I can't just that's mean.
I had sizzle reels. You needed to come with sizzle reels, Justin. It's all about the sizzle reel. A sizzle reel can make anything look cool. For instance, you want to see something that would look
Such
super
as
cool?
seals? Go ahead.
No, you might get mad if I play it. I won't.
Don't do it. Don't do
But
it.
sizzle reels make anything cool.
Okay, fine. We're doing this. You ready?
I don't.
figure out how to play it. Got it. Hey, come on, we're gonna play Cruis'n Blast. Rob Reel's got all the best arcades down at the, what is it called? The
Barcade?
no, the Dave and Buster.
David. In. Wait, is that your guitar over it? That's good. Yeah. Yeah, do that. Thanks, Zohar. So, someone wants you to do a metal version.
Right.
Do it. Go, come on, cruising. Do it metal voice.
Come on and cruise. All right, we'll see you guys on the next one. Take care, guys.
Next one. Take care, everybody.